the Marlins have two All-Stars. Two All-Stars in the 2022 All-Star game. Stunning effort for these Marlins, and they totally deserve it. Sandy Alcantara, Jazz Chisholm Jr., both of them in there as starters for the NL. We'll wait and see who starts the game on the mound. Let's see if it is Sandy. But we're going to be digging into all the All-Star news. Who's in? Equally, who is not? Who was snubbed? One major name really sticks out, and Shaun Barrett is here to dig in Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. It is your daily Marlins podcast with me, Peter Pratt. Don't forget to follow me, guys, of course, on Twitter at MiamiMarlins_UK. Hit subscribe to the pod. Hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. No TikToks, no Instas for me. Delighted to welcome back, of course, it is Monday. Regular guest, UK GOAT Shaun Barrett is back in the house. Shaun, how are we doing?
I'm doing well, Pete. All recovered from the previous week and really enjoying some Miami weather that we're experiencing right now.
You may be able to tell, looking at Shaun, that the dome is looking bronzed. I have a feeling you were out playing yourself on Sunday in what was 35-degree weather, I guess. How was that for you? Roof closed? Roof open?
Yeah, that's how professional we are. No, it was out in the searing sun, a lot of fun. I actually got to umpire the first game, so in all the kit and equipment, it was a lot of water required.
Oh my days! What's your strike three kind of maneuver, by the way? Like what does that look and feel like?
So it's not the strongest, I'll admit. Apparently, I'm pretty good at getting a loud time call out. So that seems to be my signature.
I love it. Time! Love it. Love to hear that. We got tons to get into today, mate, really. We really have. We're sitting here before a 4-game series against the Pirates, and we'll kind of spend a little bit of time on that. But big news dropping last night. The All-Stars were fully announced. The Marlins have two All-Stars. So we're going to dig into that. Plus, there's a couple of guys that were on the fringe. We'll talk about their credentials as well. And also, we'll look back on this Mets series too. A big series, and the Marlins come out splitting it. You felt my pain. Everyone felt my pain on the Sunday morning. I had to do that pod because it was just so much pain after watching that Saturday. Job done on Sunday. Split the series. Love to see it. So, guys, before we do that, you're going to love it. Today's episode is brought to you by the Sports Card Investor app. Welcome to the world of trading cards reimagined. Stay tuned later in the show for more information on this awesome new tool for collectors. You're going to want to check out the Sports Card Investor app. All right, Shaun, let's kick off with All-Star talk. Sandy Alcantara was named as an All-Star. Clearly, it's a different approach for the pitching staff. You don't have a fan vote, so you don't really get a sense of who's kind of close, who's leading the way. But the nod was given to Sandy Alcantara. Not a chance in hell he was ever not going to be voted in. There were some big names missing, though, I must say, across the league. Some names really caught me off guard. In the NL, the two Phillies, 1-2. Wheeler and Nola, both snubbed. I think that's massive snubs, particularly Wheeler. And as well, I think I saw Rodon as well didn't get in. So some big pitching names didn't get in as well from the AL side. There was a ton of other names flying around too. I think and Yordan Alvarez wasn't named a starter as well. So that was again where fan voting kind of goes a bit awry. Tons to get into. But firstly, from a Marlins perspective, Shaun, Jazz Chisholm, we already knew that he was in as an All-Star and was starting and voted in at the starter at second base. Equally, he did a Zoom straight after that announcement was made. I was snoozing, unfortunately. But Jazz said he thinks he could be back for that as well. So firstly on Jazz, how great a first half was it from Jazz? How much progression have we seen from him? And equally, how encouraging is it that he could be back?
encouraging that he could be back. I think it would be fantastic for him as an individual, and not only that, what a shot in the arm as a return, what a reward to come back from the injury and play as a starter in the All Star game, which would be phenomenal. Probably, it's something that. Were we expecting that this year? I mean, he had a great year last year. I know I wasn't. I know my predictions.
I know you definitely
well out, well out the window. But it's fantastic to see, and I think if he can return and be healthy for the game, it's going to be fantastic. I just hope that he is healthy if he does start in the game. I don't want to see any issues where he comes back too early for what is basically a glorified exhibition game and impact the season for himself and the Marlins. But no, it's fantastic and well deserved. He's had a fantastic year. He's proved all the doubters, including me, incredibly wrong, and he has improved as a player. It's not just the stats that have grown or improved. He has actually grown as a player. Not only at the plate but defensively as well. And that maturation, I think he's still got a way to go. I think we've not hit that ceiling yet. And as we've seen with Sandy getting better every year after year after year, if we can see something similar from Jazz, that's going to be fantastic for us as fans.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I love the fact as well. I was listening to Sandy on with Jeremy Taché last week. Great interview as well from Jeremy on that one. One of the best player interviews I've heard. Actually, it was absolutely brilliant. One of the threads that they got into on that was talking about Sandy was talking about how he felt like it was a big turning point in his career going to the All-Star game in 2019, I think it was. And let's hope the same happens for Jazz, where all of a sudden he goes, gets a taste, sees the level of talent there everywhere. And listen, everyone loves Jazz anyway. I'm sure he won't be quite as shy maybe as Sandy would have been going to that All-Star game, or even how Trevor Rogers was shy the year before. And actually, Trevor hasn't really kicked on at all since then, unfortunately. But nevertheless, I really think it'll go the opposite way for Jazz. I think he'll get a taste. I think he will strive to be there. I think he is striving to be the best player in the league. He certainly has the charisma, the face, the swag, you name it. And I think the skills to back it up. The point you made, though, Shaun, I think is extremely valid. Jazz Chisholm will want to be in that game. He will want to play. He will. The question is his body going to let him play? And if there is any doubt, if there is anything close to any kind of doubt, I mean, put it this way. If he doesn't play at all for the Marlins this week, can he legitimately go to the All-Star game? Like, are the Marlins, the Marlins just got to say, listen, Jazz, I'm sorry, mate. You can't go. You're like, how's that going to work if he doesn't play all week and then goes to the All-Star game? Where's your head at on that one?
It is that case. I mean, I think he'll still have the opportunity to go and experience that. And to a certain degree, I think some of that, the festivities around it are kind of what you want. You want to have the opportunity to be around what is considered to be the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And I think it is important. And what you said about Sandy is probably key, because you go to the All-Star game and you see all the best players and the guys that get more national publicity, and you realise this is where I belong. I've earned the right to be here, and this is what I want to be. I want to be considered one of the best players. So I think just being around that environment will be key for Jazz. The game, obviously, that's a cherry on the top, but I want to see him on the field for the game, but I'm also always going to have that little bit of niggling doubt and concern in the back of my mind.
And me too. I just can't see him actually suiting up to play in any capacity if he doesn't make an appearance back with the Marlins this week at all. And I'm not clear on where that timeline sits, but it just wouldn't feel right to me for Jazz to be kind of stood out there swinging a bat as an all-star in effectively an exhibition game. We want him to be there, but at the same time, his first duty is to be out there for the fish and performing and looking after himself. If he goes and tweaks his back again, swinging at what will be some of the best pitchers in the game, they're not going to be easy to hit. And Jazz will be looking to put on a show. So I'm really intrigued to see about how that one goes and whether Jazz actually goes to the game and makes an appearance. I think, like you said, he'll be there. He'll be involved. He'll be walking down the red carpet. He'll be looking flames, no doubt about it. But whether he actually makes it to the field, I'm not convinced that is going to happen, which is sad. Which is sad for everyone. We've obviously lost a few guys along the way. Bryce Harper's not going to be there, who was voted in. Ozzy Albies, who was pushing Jazz for the second base spot, isn't going to be there either. So all of a sudden, second base opens up. I mean, who's the backup of a backup at second base? I mean, Jon Berti. Well, Jon Berti should be in there as a backup reserve. I don't know. I mean, listen, he's leading a major category. Some people quashed me on Twitter for saying that, but stolen bases, it is a major category. It's one of the major. It's a major category. Is there any chance that Jon Berti could replace Jazz Chisholm at second base and actually play in the game? Or give me 1 to 10. No.
No.
Not a chance of getting too carried away now.
Not a chance. And that's not a slight on Berti. It's more a situation where, the fact that the Marlins have been able to get 2 players to have that national recognition of being all-star players. Most people around America can't name many Marlins, and Berti and Cooper, as good as they've been this year, would often get a who when you mention them. Yeah,
which is fair. We're going to talk about some snubs shortly, but just a reminder for Jon Berti, right? Just go and have a look what he's done this year. It's wild. He's currently on WAR. 2.1 WAR for Jon Berti. He's hitting 277. He's got an OPS plus of 114. I know some people say you're joking, right, Jon Berti? But honestly, at second base, those numbers are fine. Like, Jon Berti should have been in the conversation. Like, I mean, he'd stack up with anyone's number. I know Jazz's OPS plus is probably like 130 plus. Rightly so. And Jazz has got a lot of power, which obviously, Berti doesn't have the slug, I guess, that Jazz does. But nevertheless, Berti at 114 OPS plus, like, it stacks up. It really does. I'm intrigued to see who actually will play. And Bert, 2.1 WAR, leading in stolen bases. Like, the point I'm trying to make is he should be in a conversation. He should be in some sort of conversation, Jon Berti, even if it is of a backup of a backup of a backup. It's all good for me. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, which is to be expected. I'm over on my first ad. So it is time for our first ad without further ado. And this episode is brought to you by, and it's one of my favorites too, our good friends over at Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, you've heard me talk about them. I've been drinking the Athletic Greens AG1 for months. Look at my face, bronzed, healthy. That's all down to AG1. It must be. What is it? 1 scoop of delicious AG1 and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, focus, aging, all of the things. So simple. It's very simple. 1 scoop in water, shake, drink. That's it. So it's now time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And here you go. Here's the kicker. To make it easy, Athletic Greens are going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D. Everyone needs vitamin D in their lives, maybe apart from Shaun, who looks like he's had plenty of vitamin D recently. And 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, it's at athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Shaun Barrett, Sandy Alcantara. That is how you pronounce it. Sandy Alcantara is an all-star and deservedly so. Gut feel, I want to ask you about something else shortly around Sandy, but gut feel, does he start the game? Does he get the honor of starting the game in Dodger Stadium when Gonsolin and Kershaw are also on the roster?
No, they're going to give it to Kershaw. They're going to give him a lifetime achievement award. And I got into it a little bit on Twitter with a few fans of presumably the Dodgers. after maybe a sherbet or two too many, as is I want occasionally. And I get it. It's in LA, and they want that headline LA player, and they brought up the point of him losing out previously when Harvey got it in New York, and it made me go back and look at that situation, and rightfully so, Kershaw was angry. So
Yeah.
for him to get rewarded now at the cost of Sandy, because let's be honest, Sandy deserves it. I mean, no one's going to put up a statistical reason why he shouldn't be the starter. So it's a shame, but it's the way it works, isn't it? We're Marlins fans. We're used to getting dumped on by the national sort of approach towards the Marlins. So he deserves it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter. Like, it is just an exhibition game. It doesn't matter. You're not paid anymore. It doesn't matter anything really, probably. But, pitching, the pitching one is different, in my opinion. Like, the hitting side is a bit of a joke because it's all based on a fan vote where you can vote as many times as you want, 5 times a day or whatever. I was looking at the votes going, hold on a minute. The leader of votes has got like 2 million votes. I was thinking, but everyone can vote every day 5 times a day or whatever. Like, that isn't that many people that's actually voted. It's the same people like kind of going bang, bang, bang. Like, how many individual people actually vote? Anyway, it's a joke, and you can see it's a joke. And I must say, those Braves fans, they are serious vote. They just will lay it down. You saw every Braves player, every position was up there. I mean, Adam Duvall was in the final for the outfield selection. That summed it up. Adam Duvall's been rancid this year, and he was in the final conversation for the All-Star. Just shows. So the pitching, though, none of that. It's proper with the pitching, and you get, it's no fan votes, no skews. So Sandy's in, Kershaw's in, Gonsolin's in. There was all this talk about Gonsolin a couple of weeks ago, and now it's like, oh, actually, no, we're just going to, it could be Kershaw doing it. Sandy deserves it, but like you said, Shaun, gut feel is Sandy won't be starting the game. And to be honest with you, I've got no problem with Sandy just sitting there and chilling. No problem whatsoever. Just sit there and chill, Sandy. Just relax. You're too good for this. Too good for it. What was your take on his performance yesterday, by the way, mate? Didn't even go 100 pitches. I know you were playing a lot of the day yesterday, so maybe you haven't seen everything live in action. But nevertheless, Sandy doesn't go 100. The Marlins still get the win. Take on that one.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't catch it. I caught literally the last at-bat, which was, what a
way to watch a game.
But no, I've caught up with most of it by now. And you're right, Sandy went 93 pitches, I think it was, over 7 innings. Just the 4 strikeouts, but 10 ground balls, outs. Vintage Sandy. Yeah, the fact that they pulled him after 93 pitches. I mean, that's the level that we're talking about Sandy now, isn't it? That 93 is a low end of a pitch count. But no, the fact that they were able to put him at 93 and get the job done, get the W, is fantastic. And yeah, no, there's not enough words that we can say about Sandy's excellence. And he's closed out. He's probably got one more start before the All-Star game, and he has put one hell of a first half up.
He really has. Really has. His last start will be on Friday against the Phillies at home. And so, I mean, that will be a crucial start depending on what happens this week. But all I'm going to say is it's a 4-game series against the Pirates. Reynolds has just landed on the IL. I think I've seen another guy is just banged up as well, maybe missing today, maybe O'Neal Cruz. I don't know. Someone's missing big time. The Pirates are dinged. They are, and they're there for the taking here for the fish. They're there for a 3-1, even a sweep, let's say. They're there if the Marlins play well. But no Sandy in the series, so that's where I have a little bit of nervousness around it. But for me, massive start for Trevor Rogers. Ginormous for him. And he's really labored, struggled all year. Last 3 starts have been better. Definitely to the eyes, they've been better. For me, this is a ginormous start for Trevor Rogers. In what is a depleted Pirates lineup, it's time for Trevor to knuckle down and just rattle through and I want to see a 6-7 inning performance from Trevor Rogers and just show us some length. Trevor, I want to see your length. That's what I need. I really do. Shaun, I need to go back, though. I'm going again off another tangent, which is, again, par for the course. I want to go back to yesterday. Did you see the Sandy Alcantara video the Marlins put up? Have you seen it? Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You've seen it. Okay, great. Firstly, I've got to call out to say Brian De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez, absolute lunatics. Very fun characters, no doubt. Those two are like the little kids. Very funny. Very, very funny. Sandy Alcantara just named the All-Star. He knew he would be. He's walking around like a king in that clubhouse, mate, isn't he? And he's there just talking about the game. He's talking about, let's keep it going. We need to win games. Like, Sandy is so locked in. I'd run through a brick wall for Sandy. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it is. He's still talking about the team. There's literally no I in Sandy. So no. he is the guy that you want at the top of your rotation. He is, for lack of a better word, a captain type player. And for the way he's grown, we talked earlier about how he's grown from each year getting better. That is something that all young pitchers, all young players can look up to him and go, if I'm like Sandy, this is what I can achieve. To have him in the locker room and to see that almost behind the scenes look at him in the clubhouse and see how he commands that room is it's fantastic.
Really is. One guy that he wasn't commanding, which I thought was very, very interesting. If you go and watch that clip, if Marlins account put it out there. If you haven't seen what I'm talking about, go and find it. Sandy Alcantara giving a rousing speech, everyone congratulating him on being an all-star, happy days. In the background, in the distance, you've got a Avisail Garcia sat there, spread eagle, pretty much on his chair, messing about on his phone, not even looking up, messing around on his phone, tweeting, texting. I don't know what he's doing. For me, and Takes Were Made called it out, not a good look. Come on, Avisail. Come on, get off your phone. Give Sandy the respect he deserves. He's giving a speech. Everyone's celebrating him being an all-star. With your legs akimbo, messing around on your phone, not even taking the, I don't know, he's not even looking up. So, totally shocking. Yeah, okay, he went over and he gave him a nice hug. Shaun, honestly, I've watched that back about 5 times, that clip. I wanted to just, I saw it. I wanted to relive it. What's going on there with Avisail Garcia? I was totally shocked by that. What was your take on it?
I think you're right in the sense that it's not a good look. I mean, it could have been anything. He could be on the phone to a relation or getting back to something important, but we don't know. But the optics of it just aren't great, are they? And when he's having the season that he's having and all the money tied up to him, it is that case of, if I was him and I was having a poor year, I would want to sort of like back up everything else with, putting in that effort, being that rah-rah guy, doing everything I could do to prove that I'm adding value to the team, even if it's not on the field. That effort, that running to first base, even when you're grounding out to third every 4 out of 5 at bats. It is that case of you visually need to be showing that you are all in, with where the team are trying to go. And that's just yet another example of him not doing that.
It was there was a stark contrast. And listen, Pablo Lopez is sat right next to Avisail Garcia, pretty much. They're in the same vicinity. They didn't get up out of their seats and come around to where Sandy was talking to the majority of the team. They stayed sat. That's fine. Pablo, let me, for those that are watching, here's Avisail Garcia. Here's Pablo Lopez. He's like a spring chicken. He's like a meerkat. Sandy's speaking. Pablo's listening. Avi sat there, slumped in his chair, legs akimbo, head doesn't even move up. Doesn't even bother to look up for his ace, the captain, the leader. For Avisail Garcia, that is at the heart of that players' meeting a few months back. That is why that happened. That was shocking. And the funny thing is, one of those where he may not have realized what was going on, and may not have realized there may not have been a camera crew around, and it may not have been apparent to Avi Garcia, but that's perfect. You get them in their natural habitat. And for me, that looked like a dejected, withdrawn player, part of the group. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, listen, he did give Sandy a nice big hug and a pat on the bum, and everything was nice. And Sandy wasn't bothered about it, but I thought it was a very intriguing little piece there that rippled through that. So, yeah, maybe there's nothing to it. Like you said, we don't know the story. Maybe he was texting his agent to say, get me the fuck out of here. Whatever it may be. All right, guys. So, one final ad, and then we're going to wrap up with a couple of people that didn't make it in. And as I've already mentioned, our guys over at Sports Card Investor. So, you need to welcome to the world of sports cards. Reimagine. Shaun, I can't remember. Are you a sports card guy? I can't actually recall.
I have a few select cards, but yeah, no, I'm not that, key guy that has to have every card.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you are, even if you're in the early stages, it's fine. Sports Card Investor app, it's the hobby's most powerful resource. Why? You can quickly check the value of your favorite cards, find great deals, and profit from the hobby. Available completely for free in Google Play and Apple App Stores, and the Sports Card Investor app is a must-have for baseball fans. Shaun, if you were going to be targeting Marlins players right now, buy low candidates from a card perspective to sell high and profit on the future, where would your eyeballs be taking you right now?
I think Pablo is probably one of those guys that, in a national level, just isn't getting that recognition. He's a guy that could genuinely be an all-star next year. He could be, if the Marlins make the playoffs, could be a guy that gets a key start on a national game. Someone that most of the national media don't recognise right now, but we know has got the skill to do it.
Great call with Pablo. Absolutely. I think he's an absolute star. We know he's a star. I think most people, he is flying under the radar, no doubt. And yeah, big call. So, what have you got to do? I've already said it, guys. I've already said it. You go to Sports Card Investor app, go and download it today. Where you've got to get it from? Google Play, Apple App Stores, of course. Or get yourselves over to sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. I'm not a card guy either yet, but they keep popping up. The cards popping up, and I don't quite understand the differences in them, but I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. And so we'll wait and see. I think there's a few Marlins ones that could pop very, very soon. Very soon. I would have been loading up on Max Meyer cards, though, I think, for sure. Shaun, I have to talk about it, though, mate. Couple of snubs. You mentioned one, Pablo Lopez, snubbed. And, let me be totally honest now. As soon as I saw that Zach Wheeler was snubbed, no problem. Listen, for me, Wheeler has been better than Pablo this year. Only just, but I think he has. Pablo snubbed. Bassman, who's been pretty much the best reliever in baseball since June, 1st of June, let's say. Okay, we're taking away 2 months of the year there, nevertheless. Bassman snubbed. Cooper Loop snubbed. Those three dudes. Let's talk about Cooper, though, mate. Was there any hope that Coop could be named here to this All-Star roster at all if you strip away your serious fandom?
I was voting 5 times a day, every day for Cooper. Let me tell you that straight away. So I know for sure got some votes. No. I mean, Cooper, unfortunately, is playing first base DH, and there are some very worthy players out there who are, national guys. And Coop, the numbers are there. I mean, he's had a fantastic year. He has been everything that I've been bigging up for years and more. He's still in that top 30 for WRC plus. He is continuing to hit. He's even starting to hit for power now. Mm-hmm. That's starting to warm up a little bit. At the end of the day, I am more than happy for Coop to have a fantastic year and fly under the radar, ready to do it again next year. Yeah, you talked about fantasy. He's a fantastic fantasy darling because he is a fantastic player that just people don't know the name of. You can pick him up undrafted at certain points of this year. He is exactly what the Marlins needed. That core guy that's going to continue to perform. As poor as some of the players have been, he has been there pretty much throughout the whole of the season, just doing what he does.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Coop, OPS plus of 133 thus far this year. Absolutely sensational. I was talking about Jazz's. I wanted to check out what it was. Yeah, it was 139. So Jazz paces the team at 139 OPS plus. And guys, that just brings it into context how good Cooper Loop has been. 139 OPS plus for Jazz. The second base for the NL. Cooper Loop, nowhere near, apart from Shaun Barrett's votes. 133 OPS plus. Absolutely sensational. Yeah, and maybe just to add a little bit more context, Avisail Garcia, what does OPS plus? 66. 66. Shaun, Avi Garcia yesterday rested, which was interesting. The Sunday lineup, though, I don't know if you saw much of this before, but the Sunday lineup was proper. That's the strongest Sunday lineup we've had for some time. And we kind of look at it. The bench basically is the backup catcher, which yesterday was Fortes, always will be, because Stallings has I guess got the gig when Sandy's on the mound. Luke Williams, Billy Hamilton, and then yesterday Avi was then on the bench. But they've been kind of rotating around. But basically Luke Williams and Billy Hamilton, the bench dudes. Normally we'd see them on a Sunday. This time we didn't see them until towards the end, but it was actually those two that came in and contributed. So great to see. And I think the Marlins played it right. I think they had to go out with a strong lineup behind Sandy, but they played it right where those guys have got a role. They're comfortable in the role and they're making it happen in the role. So absolutely perfect, script, the way that Donnie managed that one. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, how ironic is it that we finally get a Sunday lineup to back up Sandy that we all feel comfortable in, and then the two guys that we would have killed them for putting them in there had they been the starter are the guys that come in and get the win. And to win the game, to split the series, to split the two series, as is what we're all saying would be, we'll all take that.
Yep.
Was fantastic.
We said 3-3, didn't we? It's a good week.
And after an absolutely heartbreaking, horrible loss on Saturday that required you to wake up early doors in your sick bed and put out, quite frankly, a very spicy episode. For them to back it up on the Sunday and actually deliver what we asked for is fantastic.
Well, firstly, thanks for listening to the episode, mate. It's glad to see you still tuning in, which is good. And you're right. It was early. It was early, and I was feeling the pain. I was like, that was effectively straight after the final incident where you hit record. I know I did it after, but for me, I watched it in the morning, the last inning or two, and the pain was real. Let's finish up on the closing situation because we are running way out of time, actually with 3 minutes over already, but nevertheless, Tanner Scott has locked into the gig. Obviously, the Saturday things went wonky. More generally, something that Craig Mish pointed out, I think the Marlins were like 17-1 or something in this kind of stretch of games where Scott's been coming in the ninth or in, looking to close out games. So it's working. He's found it. But the point Craig was making is he's getting a lot of work. Even yesterday, because, Richard Blyer was out there. Zach Pop was out there. You're thinking, okay, it's the B crew are in for today. Everyone's down on rest. Next thing is Tanner Scott's up warming up again. He's getting a lot of work, a lot of usage. It's nerve-wracking when he's up there. It's entertaining. Where's your head at with Tanner Scott now in this closer role? And how are the Marlins going to get him? Are they going to get someone in there to give him a breather and give him some help? It feels like they need at least one more arm that they can trust there in the ninth, I think.
Yeah, it does seem like this is a product of the season that we're having where the day offs, there aren't often many days off in baseball anyway, but it seems like it's even more exaggerated this year. And yeah, when you've got, a leverage bullpen that it's light, you've got Scott, you've got Okert, and you've got Bass, but you can't pitch them every day,
No.
And there aren't many more truly trusted arms in the bullpen. I think we are at that point where, we do need. I think we need a new long man. Nance just frankly isn't getting the job done,
No.
and you can fix that quite easily by bringing up Max Meyer. It seems crazy to use Max Meyer as a reason to upgrade your long man, but bringing up Meyer, putting Castano in the role, and we can
No-brainer.
wait. But I do think we need to add another back of the end bullpen piece. I think that's a nice easy thing to fix pretty well and pretty cheaply in the grand scheme of things. As far as Scott, I think he is at this point a genuine closer. I think he's done a really good job. Saturday, yeah, it didn't go well, but it wasn't his pitching that got him in trouble. It
No.
was fielding. So in a way, as horrible as it was and as heartbreaking as it was, I'd rather that be the case than him get lit up at the plate. So I still trust him. To a certain degree, you are right in the sense of sometimes it can be a little bit ugly and a little bit nerve-wracking, but the results speak for themselves. And frankly, the way that the bullpen was pieced together in the off-season, this is probably the best we can expect from that.
I mean, it's been a success. It took a while to find the pieces. Have taken a while to find their roles, but now they have. It's quite an obvious formula now that's being used. Bassman 7th, Okert 8th, and Scott in the 9th. I must say, Okert equally is starting to fall off slightly in my view. Like he was really, really on in the early stage, and I to waver right now. So we'll wait and see on that one. Yacobonis gave up the salami, I guess, on the Thursday game, I think it was. Thinking back, it feels like a long time ago. But Yacobonis, after kind of throwing some wild, had a good couple of days. And all of a sudden, he's taken a kind of couple of steps back. Like you said, Nance, to me, it's probably time to move on from Tommy Nance. Dan the Man Castano into the longman role, which he'd suit well. Cody Poteet, I believe, is making a rehab start as well in the near term. So there's a few guys coming back. But, this next 3 weeks, for me, all hands to the pump. And if that includes Max Meyer, which I think it probably should, it's time. Think of this. They're in the mix. 2 games back of 500, 4-game series against the Marlins. It's time to put the pedal down. The Phillies come to town. 3-game series with the Phils. We always play the Phils well at home. We always do. Sandy will be going on the Friday. That's 1-0. Pablo will be going, on the Sunday? That's 2-0. So listen, this is the time for the Marlins to put the pedal down and go into the All-Star break above 500. Not only that, continue the momentum and get to the deadline 5-6 games over 500. Let's put the pedal down and let's make it happen. This is the time. I'm really intrigued to see what they do. Really, really intrigued. This series is massive. Massive game for Trevor Rogers tonight. Massive, massive game. The biggest game of Trevor Rogers' career for some time. Really is. You can't scuttle against the Pirates now, Trev. You can't. You've looked good for the last 3. You have to come out and you have to deliver. I am excited to see what he can do. Avisail back in there in the cleanup spot, I think. Maybe in the 5-hole. Jesus Sanchez, Avisail. Boy, oh boy, that combination was not working on Saturday. It was a lot of pain there, a lot of left on base for those boys. And like I said on the episode on Sunday, Shaun, Jesus Sanchez is not without fault. He isn't. It's also the heart of the order has just not been good enough. It really hasn't. And so I'm intrigued to see. Where's your head at with Jesus Sanchez? That's the final one, then we'll get out of here.
It's a concern, isn't it, at this point? So Alan Witts, who you've had on your show at least once or twice, I think, is a huge Jesus Sanchez fan.
He is.
And even he, at this point, is saying maybe it's time. He sees a bit of AAA time, which I know hurt him quite a lot. It's that case if you look at the lineup and you look at the guys that you go, I trust that guy, or I don't trust that guy. And at the moment, Jesus Sanchez is one of those guys we just can't trust. If he's up at plate at a big spot, you're not expecting him to come through. And
No.
it's got to the point where his numbers are really starting to slide. And something's got to happen. He either needs to fix that hole in his swing, or we need to get a guy in that lineup spot that can put some numbers up.
No, for sure. For context as well, Jesus Sanchez OPS plus of 85 this year. So, it's below average. He's been a below average hitter. I was talking earlier on, and again, I don't want to go off on this tangent. We're going to have a full episode on trade options, but Ramon Laureano for me is a no-brainer for the Fish, I think. OPS plus, what is it? It's 111. He's an above-average hitter this year, and he can field in center field. Ramon Laureano, pick up the phone to the A's, get that deal done. Jesus Sanchez, slide into a corner, see what he can do there. We're out of time. Shaun Barrett, that has been a lot of fun. We've covered a lot of ground. I have had at least 3 rants, which, the Marlins, I'm not sure they deserved a few rants. It should be a positive one. But nevertheless, they split the series against the Mets. 2 All-Stars named. We've got a 4-game series against the Pirates. I think the Marlins are going to do some damage against these Pirates. I think Trevor's going to kick it off tonight. So that is us done. Peter Pratt, Shaun Barrett on Monday's episode of Locked on Marlins. Thank you for making Locked on Marlins your first listen of the day. Now, if you're thinking about your second, hit up Locked on MLB Prospects. That one's hosted by Lindsey Crosby, and he is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your pods. And thinking about tomorrow, we will be back. It is a daily pod. Don't forget, Tuesday episode is going to be a crossover episode. It is myself with the Locked on Pirates host. So we're going to be digging into game 1 and looking ahead to the next 3. Could be some Brian Reynolds talk as well. I'm not going to lie. We'll wait and see on that one. But thanks for joining us today. Thanks to you, Shaun, as well. Thanks to everyone for hopping onto this one. Be back tomorrow. Go Fish.